Ezra Miller has been arrested again in Hawaii, and I still don't see any sign of Hollywood executives cutting them off from their future projects. Just a few weeks after already getting in trouble with the police, Ezra was arrested again, but this time it was for second-degree battery after they allegedly threw a chair at a woman. According to the Hawaii police, Ezra became irate after being asked to leave a get-together at a private residence. The 29-year-old then decided that they were going to Steve Wilkos the whole shebang, so they just grabbed a chair and launched it into the air, which ended up hitting a 26-year-old woman in the head. Nothing flashy about that, folks. Police were then called to the property in Pahoa on Hawaii's Big Island. They apparently arrived in the early hours of Tuesday morning following the report that Ezra had attacked someone yet again. Miller was then taken into police custody at 1:30 a.m. after being located on a road during a traffic stop, although they were later released following a pending further investigation. In a statement to the press, the Hawaii Police Department said, "Shortly after 1 a.m. on Tuesday, April 19, 2022, a 29-year-old visitor from Vermont was arrested for second-degree battery after an incident at a residence in Pahoa. During the course of their investigation, police determined that the individual, later identified as Ezra Miller, became irate after being asked to leave and reportedly threw a chair, striking a 26-year-old female on the forehead, resulting in an approximate half-inch cut. The female victim refused treatment for her injury." And the statement then goes on to say, Miller, who identifies as they/them, was subsequently arrested at 1:30 a.m. for battery in the second degree after being located on the roadway during a traffic stop at the intersection of Highway 130 and Kakula Street in Kiau. After conferring with the county prosecutor's office at 4:05 a.m. on Tuesday morning, Miller was released pending further investigation. This is an active investigation. And as I mentioned earlier, this arrest comes just a few weeks after Ezra was already arrested for disorderly conduct and harassment in Hilo. Just after midnight at a bar in Hawaii, Ezra allegedly flipped out over bar patrons singing karaoke. As per the Hawaii Police Department, they said, during the course of their investigation, police determined that the man, later identified as Ezra Miller, became agitated while patrons at the bar began singing karaoke. Miller began yelling obscenities and at one point grabbed the microphone from a 23-year-old woman singing karaoke, which would be the disorderly conduct offense, and later lunged at a 32-year-old man playing darts, which would be the harassment offense. The bar owner asked Miller to calm down several times, but to no avail. Now, this was just the tipping point, but according to police, they have been having many issues with Ezra prior to this even. Not only were they arrested for the karaoke bar dispute, but cops were also called for another disturbance just weeks prior to this. In a video shot earlier this month, you could see Ezra being denied entry at a bar with a female employee actually physically preventing Ezra from going inside the Chinatown area bar. According to a witness, the confrontation took place after Ezra was kicked out of a different bar across the street. Things ended up getting so heated between Ezra and the female staff member that the police were immediately called in. And again, according to witnesses, more than half a dozen officers showed up. In another video, Miller could also be seen speaking with the police before they politely asked them to leave the area. Law enforcement sources also said that Ezra was given a trespass warning but was not arrested. Now, on top of all of that, 2 Hawaii residents have actually filed a temporary restraining order even against Ezra, claiming that the actor had and threatened them as well. According to the complaint, they claimed that Miller actually busted into their bedroom and threatened them, saying, "I will bury you and your wife." As per the court documents obtained by Associated Press, Ezra was accused of also stealing some of the alleged victim's personal belongings, which included a wallet and a passport. The document goes on to say, "The respondent is famous and wealthy. This makes access to weapons much easier, as well as sending associates to harass the petitioner." And the actor had apparently been staying at the couple's hostel while in Hawaii and has been the source of 10 police calls since arriving in Hilo on March 7th. Hawaii Police Assistant Chief on the Big Island said that there have been incidents of Ezra even filming people at a gas station, refusing to leave the sidewalk area of a restaurant, and just arguing with people in general. Hours after being arrested and then released on a $500 bail, police had to escort Miller off of the Hilo property where they were staying after a resident called the police asking for advice about removing 2 house guests from his property. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all this though, because that's all the time we have for today. So stay classy, and I'll see you in the next one.